All right, Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to my power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Salutations to you, brothers, all across the four corners of the earth who are pushing this word in sincerity and in faith. This is out of Zero Hedge. Martin Armstrong says the 2020 presidential election will be the most violent in American history. Right? So, see here, it says Civil War. So Esau knows. Let's see what we got here. Let's get some recommended videos. Alright. Says the Clintons have been touring Canada with their usual exploitation to raise a never-ending pot of money. The attendance has been at best 50%. They are drawing fewer and fewer audiences. It will only get much worse over the next 2 years. By the time we get to 2020, it is not going to look very civil out there. We have crossed the line. Violence and hate speech is now the normal. There is no tolerance for people to accept an opposing view. Now, if you see here, this is in 1857. Here it says U.S. Supreme Court ruled 7-2. They ruled 7-2, by the way, that a slave, Dred Scott, who had resided in a free state and territory where slavery was prohibited, was not thereby entitled to his freedom because African Americans were not and could never be citizens of the United States. It is interesting that 8.6 years from that decision was nearly the surrender of the final Confederate ship to the British, Shenandoah, on November 6, 1865. So, man, Esau has always been, Esau has always assumed that they're over Jacob. You know? It says right here, if we throw in all the economic problems we see coming with pensions and a monetary crisis on top of all of that, I would not count of 2020 being a normal presidential election. It may be the most violent event in American political history. All right. So as you just say, man, that's a warning. That's a warning, man. That's all this is. So I want you to look right here, man. Do these people right here, and these people are here on the earth today. They're reincarnated. All these so-called Edomites right here. All these so-called white people. You can see, man, that they were ready for war then, just like they're getting ready for war now. You know, the spirit of war is definitely on. It's on Babylon and it's on the whole world, really. All right. So, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord, power of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Judah, saith the Lord, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith the Lord, We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces turned into paleness. So this is extreme fear. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So in these times, right, all these times that are to come ahead, the people who are the men, right, the men of Israel, calling out to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the sincere men, they're going to be delivered. You know what I mean? Verse 8, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. So you got Jake, all 12 tribes of Israel constantly serving Esau and the heathen nations. That's all you see no matter where you go. Verse 9, but they shall serve the Lord their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. All right, so in that time, when the Lord establishes righteousness on the earth, it's going to go back to the original format, which is Yahushua HaMashiach at the top, then under him, King David, then King Solomon, so on and so forth. Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord. Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And where is that? America. And there's, Jake is spread all over the world, but primarily Babylon. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. So at that point, we'll be at the top. Israel will be at the top, and Esau and the heathens will be at the bottom, like it should be. Verse 11, for I am with thee, saith the Lord. So the Lord is with Israel. The Lord ain't with you heathens, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. Right? So we're gonna catch afflictions, all sorts of hell, but to be punished for Yahushua's sake is, it's glorious. Verse 12, for thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee, they seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction? So he's saying, why you bitching? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity. Because thy sins were increased, I have done these things unto thee. Therefore all they that devoured thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. So all y'all saying there ain't no such thing as slavery in the kingdom, oh boy, y'all wrong, man. Because that's coming. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord. Because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. So, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are on the bottom of the totem pole, so to speak. Right? And we've always been the outcast of everything. When it comes to Esau's history, we're not even in there. We're a brief segment in history. We were slavery. That's it. Nothing. They don't. And maybe the inventor of peanut butter, George Washington Carver. That's it. Outside of that, they don't really say shit. Besides, and although peanut butter is a great invention, and he invented other things, that's not the pinnacle of our creation. This is verse 18. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tent, and have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry. All right, and who are the people who make merry? The saints. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children shall be as aforetime. So remember when everybody had a lot of children. And their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them. Right? So each tribe, right, is going to have their leaders. The Judites are going to have the Judite leaders. Ephraimites are going to have the Ephraimite leaders. Everybody's going to have, their elders, and there's going to be a process under one united Israel, And it says, and I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engaged, Salakia, his heart to approach unto me, saith the Lord. For ye shall be my people, and I will be your power. Behold, the whirlwind of the Lord goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of the Lord shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it. And we're in the latter days, and we're considering it now because Esau is doing some shit we've never seen quite recently. This is Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 1. At the same time, saith the Lord, will I be the power of all the families of Israel, so nobody else, and they shall be my people. Thus saith the Lord, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. The Lord hath appeared of old unto me, saying, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore with loving kindness have I drawn thee. Again I will build thee, and thou shalt be built, O Virgin of Israel. Right? Thou shalt again be adorned with thy tabrets, and shalt go forth in the dances of them that make merry. And the dances of them that make merry, right, is the word found through the prophets. Verse 5. Thou shalt yet plant vines upon the mountains of Samaria. The planters shall plant and shall eat them as common things. For there shall be a day that the watchmen upon the Mount Ephraim shall cry, Arise ye, and let us go up to Zion unto the Lord our power. For thus saith the Lord, Sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Lord, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coasts of the earth. And with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together, a great company shall return hither. And that's that 1/3. Those men, 1/3 elect men, elect women, and elect children, right, who got that call to election through the man, This is verse 9. They shall come with weeping, and with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble, right? And that's this proper doctrine. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. Hear the word of the Lord, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattereth Israel will gather him, and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock. For the Lord hath redeemed Jacob, and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. So at that moment in time, and shit, all the way till today, Esau is over Jacob. You know what I mean? And he's definitely stronger than us. He's got the best military. He's got, everything. So we are literally prisoners for Yahushua HaMashiach's sake. Verse 12, Therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of the Lord, for wheat and for wine and for oil, and for the young of the flock and of the herd. And their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. So when they're receiving that word, right, that wine, that oil, that wheat, that's that supplements being built up in them spiritually. Spiritually, they're getting their supplements, and the young of the flock, the youth, you know what I mean? They're finally being like a watered garden, they're growing. Verse 13, Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, both young men and old together, right? So you're gonna have obviously the young elders, and you're gonna have the older elders. For I will turn their mourning into joy, and will comfort them, and make them rejoice from their sorrow. And I will satiate the soul of the priests with fatness, right? And not with actual fat, but from this word, you'll be, full. And my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rahel, weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children, because they were not. Thus saith the Lord, refrain thy voice from weeping, and thine eyes from tears, for thy work shall be rewarded, saith the Lord, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. And there is hope in thine end, saith the Lord, that thy children shall come again to their own border. So, don't worry, everybody who's Israel is going to be Israel, and everybody's going to return to what they are. You know what I mean? In the end, I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus. Thou hast chastised me, and I was chastised as a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke. Because when you take a really young bullock and you try to put a yoke around him, or you try to brand him or anything like that, he's jumping all over the place. He's not having it, right? It says, turn thou me, and I shall be turned, for thou art the Lord my power. Surely after I was turned, I repented, and after that I was instructed. I smote upon my thigh. I was ashamed, yea, even confounded, because I did bear the reproach of my youth. Because you're confused. A lot of times you think about your youth and how Esau's hold was on you, and you didn't even know it. You know what I mean? So you're going to be confounded when you're first coming into this thing, and confounded a little bit every day. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I spake against him, I do earnestly remember him still. All right, so the Lord is still dealing with all 12 tribes of Israel. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, saith the Lord. Set thee up waymarks, make thee high heaps. Set thine heart toward the highway, even the way which thou wentest. Turn again, O Virgin of Israel, turn again to these thy cities. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. So you can see that today. Women, more women go to college. You see women doing all sorts of things that they really shouldn't be doing. Verse 23, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, as yet they shall use this speech in the land of Judah and in the cities thereof, when I shall bring again their captivity. The Lord bless thee, O habitation of justice, and mountain of holiness, right? Which is the elect of Israel. And there shall dwell in Judah itself, and in all the cities thereof together, husbandmen, and they that go forth with flocks. For I have satiated the weary soul, and I have replenished every sorrowful soul. Upon this I awakened, and beheld, and my sleep was sweet unto me. So when Jeremiah woke up, right, this was a great thing that was being revealed unto him, because it's not every day that you get flashes of the future, and they're good, because for the most part you see example of destruction after destruction after destruction, right? And he's seeing the glory of Yasharallah. It says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast. All right. And that doesn't mean that that any Israelite is a beast. If you're an Israelite male, you're an Israelite. But this is talking about here in America, how you got a lot of white guys, or you got a lot of Slaki. You got a lot of so-called Judite guys getting with white women and all this and that, and mixing with all sorts of people. I mean, you see Jake with a white chick, you see Jake with an Asian chick, Jake with a Polynesian chick, Jake with a Russian chick. So that's what it's describing. Because in those times, everybody relatively stayed to their own people. It's not until you get here in the times of Babylon that you can really, date whoever the fuck you want to. This is verse 28. And it shall come to pass, all right, says prophecy, that like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith the Lord. So the Lord knew that Israel was going to rise to its former glory again. In those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But every one shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth a sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. And what is that sour grape? That bad philosophy. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord. So this is talking about the new covenant, the new wedding. You know what I mean? Because you see, the Lord says that He's a husband unto us. You know what I mean? And we are the Lord's bridesmaid, man. And spiritually, we have been adulterers. Verse 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. So in those times, you're not going to have the ability to go off, right? You're going to be perfect. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me. So so you won't have to go out and say, hey, you're an Israelite, you're an Israelite. Everybody will know. Everybody will know, okay, this person is 1/3. Okay, this person is 2/3. Okay, this guy is the elect. This guy. So everybody's going to know about Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. From the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord. So everybody will know the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. So that's never going to happen. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the city shall be built to the Lord from the tower of Hananeel unto the gate of the corner. What is that gate? What is that gate of the corner? The gate of the corner is going to be the end, quote unquote, of the physical representation of the kingdom, right? Because the kingdom is going to be, there's going to be, everywhere else, but the kingdom is going to be a set place with 12 gates. You know what I mean? And obviously, all the way at the end of that kingdom, they have everywhere else. Esau is going to be somewhere getting his ass kicked. Moab is going to have his land. Hamites going to have their land. And after 1,000 years, all the Edomites are going to be rounded up and exterminated, and you'll never see an Edomite ever again, man. Verse 39, and the measuring line shall yet go forth over against it upon the hill Jareb, and shall compass about to Goath, and the whole valley of the dead bodies, and of the ashes, and of all the fields unto the brook of Kidron, unto the corner of the horse gate toward the east, shall be holy unto the Lord. It shall not be plucked up, nor thrown down any more forever. So the Lord is going to generate a certain space that is going to be allotted to the elect of Israel. You know what I mean? And that's what's going to be considered the kingdom. So I really hope that was edifying. Kol halal Yahweh ba'ashem Yahushai ba'ashem Makakwadash. And shalom to the hopeful elect.